I have no business feeling as old as I currently do. Also, new microphone.
In this video, I'm going to go over everything that I love about the game.
In this video, I'm going to go over everything that I love about the game, and holy fuck, I can't believe I re-recorded that line solely for this shitty joke. The year is 2004, and developer Epic Games are light years away from being the multi-billion-dollar company that they are today. I'm 9 years old and I'm dedicating all my free time to playing kid-friendly, totally non-violent video games, including but not limited to Halo 2, Counter-Strike, Time Splitters 2, Half-Life 2, and of course, Unreal Tournament 2004. The game that single-handedly introduced me to the Unreal universe, prompting me to go back and play every single game in the franchise, ranging from the fantastic entries that spawn out of the Unreal brand, right down to the average at best ones. And in the case of UT2K4, the legacy that this game holds within the modding community can't be overstated, with some of the most noteworthy mods that were birthed out of this game even becoming their own separate titles altogether. But Unreal Tournament was also the game that introduced me to blazing fast twitch shooters, where movement, map control, weapon mastery, and split-second decision-making all coalesced into a deadly ballet of pure testosterone-fueled carnage. Most importantly though, Unreal Tournament 2004 is my favorite PC game of all time. A game so heavily embedded into my childhood, and a title that completely mops the floor with modern day releases, in terms of content, playability, variety, and sheer unadulterated fun. So let's insta-gib our way through this video where pretty much all I do is simp religiously over how much I love this damn game, and everything it does. Be it if it's bot AI, map design, soundtrack, controls, gunplay, or just about everything in between. And no matter if you happen to be watching this out of sheer nostalgia, and because your feelings surrounding this classic behemoth of a game are as positive as my own, or perhaps you're just wondering whether or not this game is worth playing in the year 2021, I'll give you the good news up front. Unreal Tournament 2004 still kicks copious amounts of ass some 17 years after it originally released. And seeing this entire franchise just sort of fizzle out of existence and seemingly being forgotten about is heartbreaking and bittersweet. Especially seeing how no other shooter has captured my heart to the extent that this one has since I originally played it, and if you've yet to experience it for yourself, I recommend it wholeheartedly. Let's start out with what this game does better than just about every other comparable game out there, being that of content. Granted, the entirety of Unreal Tournament 2003, which is basically a glorified beta version of this game, was ported over into this game with all the maps and modes contained therein. So when you combine that with all of the additions made in this game, as well as the additional community-made maps that were included in the Mega Pack version of the game, that I conversely happen to own, and what you have is a sum total of 10 game modes strewn across 129 maps. A flawless combination of tried and true death matches on reimagined classics and new arenas, coupled with objective-based skirmishes by way of the Assault, Bombing Run, CTF, and Domination modes, and, in a first for the series, full-on vehicular combat and 32-player matches made possible in the Onslaught mode. And the fact that the map makers even went the extra mile and decided to make exclusive maps for some of these game modes should give you a pretty good idea as to how much work went into giving players a seemingly endless supply of content to have fun with. But it doesn't stop there, as the series' trend of letting players wreak havoc with game-changing mutators, the best bot AI known to history, dedicated servers, LAN support, server browsers, a sort of a semi-story mode with predetermined bot matches, extensive UI customization. I mean, the list just goes on and on. But more than anything, UT2K4 is just straight up fun as hell almost irrespectively of what mode you spend time with. For me personally, Assault, Onslaught, and good old-fashioned team deathmatches are more than enough to cleanse my palate. And weirdly enough, I can't think of many multiplayer shooters today that incorporate mission objectives and light storytelling into the proceedings, quite like the Assault mode did both in this game and UT99. In this brilliant take on attack and defend, one team has to complete a series of objectives within an allotted time limit, such as jumping from train to train on a moving convoy to steal a warhead, escort a vehicle to safety, take out an entire mothership, hello? Aerial dogfights in outer space in an arena shooter where I can do a pelvic thrust whenever I damn well please. Man, they really thought of everything. And speaking of which, it's absolutely remarkable how the vehicular combat and capture point antics of Onslaught and the more tightly focused approach of Assault somehow doesn't slow the game down one bit. It's still fast, strategic, violent, and imminently satisfying, further amplified by the now iconic selection of firearms, all sporting alternate firing methods, and all of them serving a purpose when asserting dominance on the battlefield. The flak cannon is still a fucking blast to use. Moreover, the superb movement and dodging abilities coupled with an adrenaline mechanic creates a sense of forward momentum that incentivizes you to keep moving at all times, forcing you to quickly swap between different weapons and decide when you want to get out of harm's way in pursuit of health and ammo pickups. You don't reload your weapon and you're rarely in a scenario where you aren't forced to shoot whatever is moving in front of you. I also feel like I could make an entirely separate video where I discuss the outstanding artificial intelligence in this game, with higher level bots doing a shockingly good job of imitating actual real players. The bots you fight alongside with and against will always operate vehicles, turrets, help you complete objectives and use every weapon in their arsenal. Hell, I pretty much never even bothered with the online multiplayer in this game, considering I never felt the need to. Why would I when the bots in this game do such a damn good job of emulating real human adversaries? And I almost forgot to mention that the insanely popular Horde mode coined by Epic in 2008's Gears of War 2 saw its original proof of concept in the invasion mode in this game, where you and a team of players square off against waves of enemies that have been directly imported from the original Unreal. It's more of a novelty than anything else, but it once again goes to show how much the developers cared about giving players a wide assortment of game modes to suit just about every single player. So you might be wondering, is there anything that I don't like about this game from a content or gameplay standpoint? Well, I guess the so-called single-player campaign where you work your way through a tournament ladder and draft increasingly better bots doesn't really serve a purpose when you can just boot up a game mode and a map of your choice with tons of settings to mess around with by simply clicking the instant action button, making the campaign feel more like an afterthought than anything else. So with that minute complaint out of the way, let's discuss the presentation found in UT2K4. So while the Unreal Engine 2 is definitely showing its age, the maps themselves boast a ton of personality, with some of them being incredibly memorable and impeccably designed. Some of them utilize low gravity or focus more on verticality, whereas others are pure spectacle, like how the Mothership map shifts from space combat to claustrophobic indoor encounters without so much as a hitch. And the player models and the background info on all the characters give this game a ton of style. And style is definitely a complement best suited for the incredible soundtrack, with different motifs and songs being composed for a lot of the individual maps, coupled with remakes of tracks found in previous Unreal Tournament games. And I swear this game wouldn't even be half the product that it is had it not been for the soundtrack, which gets your blood pumping at all times. So from the maps, game modes, vehicles, shooting, options, soundtrack, and the straight up fun factor, Unreal Tournament 2004 has aged gracefully, and replaying it now as an adult has only reaffirmed my love and admiration for this masterpiece of an arena shooter. So while I do have incredibly fond memories of also playing the original Unreal Tournament from 1999, UT2K4 is my most nostalgic game in the franchise. A game that does so many things so outrageously well, with an uncompromising amount of depth and intuitiveness that modern shooters have yet to live up to. So in the very rare event that this video lands on the radar of someone who even had a small part to play in bringing this game to life, from the bottom of my heart I want to say thank you. The memories I have from playing this game will live on for an eternity, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Thank you for watching.